Welcome, welcome. Another week, another video here. Today, I think I'm gonna just kind of riff on some stuff I've been thinking about, um, mostly around the theme of why I even do this as a hobby, and why do I appreciate it, and things like that. I have a lot of topics I've been thinking about and trying to talk about, um, but I'm just gonna kind of go very broad here, kind of all over the place, even though I have a couple notes jotted down. Um, uh, so why I even do this? It's what I've been thinking about. Well, for me, a lot of it is fun. It's just kind of fun. It's one of the reasons I do a lot of stuff I do is just I find it fun. There's something there's something that makes it easy, of course, than anything in life when you have some enjoyment of it, and that's how I feel about this stuff. There's some times where it's harder, of course, and some days where it's a little rougher, but on the whole, I really enjoy it. There's there's also something kind of steadying about it. Grounding, I suppose, might be the word. It's a little strange, I guess, in that I don't think most people would call it that. They'd call, something grounding more peaceful or soothing or something like that. But I find that this combines some like bit of intensity and some bit of stress, and gives you that real strong push sensation, a real strong drive. You kind of like engage and try really hard for a brief moment, and there's a calm. It's kind of like a real intense buildup and a real quick drop in succession. And um, after the fact, it's really relaxing. You're just I assume whatever whatever hormones and stuff are released afterwards, adrenaline and such, really help it just make it feel nice and calming. So I really appreciate that. Um, I also appreciate it from just something that's not my job. My job is software development, which is great. Um, but in the past, it's also been on top of my job, been like my main hobby too. And at some point, it's good to have something different to do, something else to focus on and think about. Um, that isn't that job. It's good to do something different, especially when you're just at a desk and such. Something more physical really, really helps quite a bit. It makes you exhausted in a different way that's not just mental in the physical way, and yeah, it just gets you doing something a little different, and that helps. Um, I've also been trying to think about how to talk about this. A lot of people talk about um, fitness in general and weightlifting and such, strength training in terms of mental health. And I agree with the sentiment that I definitely do. It's absolutely a major component of my mental health. No question. I'd actually consider it like one of the major pieces. But I, I feel like it's a little vague when we talk about it like that. We just say it's mental health. It's part of it. It does such good things, and this is my very first shallow pass at trying to break that down a little bit. Um, what one thing that it helps me with is um, doing something with feelings of frustration or anger, or um, just even a tough day, or something like that. It just converts it into um, something tangible, something physical, right? Like a release for those feelings. It really helps to make that physical, I find, in a safe and healthy manner, of course. um, it's just a good way to do it, uh, and it's kind of also for me this little niche that I have for myself. And when I'm in this zone of working out, it's my time, right? So I can sort of decide what I'm going to do with it. I can think about everything that's been happening to me, during the last time I was working out, or whatever's been going on at work, or family life, or whatever it may be. Or I can just block it all out. I'm out on my own. I'm lucky enough to have this little space for my little garage gym. Um, I can just focus on the workout. I can just say forget everything else for a little bit and get through this. Um, so I think that really helps to just have like it's almost like I don't want to call it third place because there's not other people, but it is kind of nice to have that just a different thing that's not just home and just work, for sure. Um, Another really big part of it too, I would say, is just that it's also kind of just helped me accept myself um, in a physical sense a bit more than I have in the past. Um, the the long and the short of it, which this is not a very unique story, but for my entire life, essentially that I can remember, is I've just been told, I'm obese. You look at you look at a BMI chart. You go to the doctor, they pull up a BMI chart and they show you the curve, and they go, "Oh, you're way off the scale. You're way over here. This is where you should be on this line." And that just has not been my experience. I've had I've had lots of times where I've been closer and further, um, and I've been all over the place with that. But generally speaking, I've been over it no matter what I do. And the thing is that just that wears on you after a while, right? Especially when you're young. That's something you internalize, I think. Um, and when you internalize something like that, and you kind of just hear what people say about being fat or being overweight, um, and it sounds negative or something, like it's really negative, it's really bad for your health, and so on and so forth. That that impacts your self-image, right? And having something that impacts your self-image like that makes a lot of other things harder in life when you're too preoccupied with that. So, um, what I found with this is that, you know, I'm I'm adult-like now, I would say. So, yeah, I've grown a lot of ways since those early days, um, but it's also just been something that's helpful for me. At this point, it's kind of like, yeah, I'm overweight, but like I go to the gym all the time and I can do all these movements that honestly a lot of other people can't, except these Pendlay rows. Those are, ugh, that was not looking good. This was a rough night on a tangent here. I had a bunch of stuff that I had to take over, so I couldn't go to the gym at normal time. So I went at night, and everything was just feeling a lot harder, and my mind was all over the place. So it wasn't my best night, but that happens. Not a big deal. Um, but yeah, I mean, this whole process has been, of course, it changes your body composition a bit, doing all this weightlifting. So that's certainly a component of it to not dismiss that part. But it's also just been kind of the weight is sort of part of it. It's part of what makes the movements possible. It's part of what makes me actually half decent at it, right? So it's kind of cool in that way. It's kind of cool. You can have that and just sort of be more accepting of who you are. And to also be clear, I I have I would say I'm kind of neutral at this point about my body. I don't hate it. I don't necessarily love it. I'm just kind of about it. There are days where I still don't like the weight I'm at and wish I was lighter. It'd be cool. If I could be a little lighter, I could run a little more, and I could do this, that, or the other thing. But now my point is that's more of just kind of passing thoughts, or more just small goals. Like, yeah, oh yeah, that's that's a good idea. I should take a few pounds down for reasons that I feel are important, not just I was told that something health and this is what people expect. Um, and I'm not like super stressed about it or anything anymore. It's not tied to anxiety or anything like that. Um, it's just something I could work on. So yeah, not to not to fool anyone to think I'm like, oh, I love my body, it's perfect, and I never see problems with it. But um, having this has really helped me accept just that's what I am, and that's fine. Yeah, for sure. Here I am. Uh, Back to the video a little bit here, doing some bench press. Bench press feeling really good. Um, yeah, 240 here for 8, I think. Yeah, uh, just really working on that shoulder stuff. Just has really popped me back to where I want to be pressing wise. I really stalled out for a lot of last year, and um, yeah, I'm just really happy to be hitting it hard and getting back to it again. I'm feeling pretty much good. So yeah, 240 for 8. I think this was pretty good. That actually didn't look too bad. Maybe I had a little more in the tank. I'm not sure. But yeah, the other thing too is that I mentioned from last time is different from the first cycle is that I've added in what I call pyramid sets, which are um, in this case I work up a little bit of weight. And I work to a top set, and then I go back down those same weights. So I'll do, so if I'm doing sets of 5, I'll do my first set of 5 at one weight, second set of 5 at a second weight, and then a third set of 5 at the third weight. And then I'll do another set of 5 at the second weight, and then another set of 5 at the first weight. The the reason for that is just more volume into the workout. Yeah, it definitely, the 5-through-1 program is just not enough volume for what I like to do anymore. I definitely like working at that like 8 rep range, 6 to 8, I would say. 10 can be good sometimes, 5 can be fine sometimes too. It's cool to like pull a couple big triples or a big single or whatever, but yeah, I just definitely prefer a little less weight and a little more volume on it at the end of the day. So yeah, that little extra bit in that pyramid is kind of a good compromise here. Still definitely low volume, so I'm pushing the weight, but yeah. Just did I wasn't really feeling the squats this day, so this was kind of me going kind of speed sets. I was trying to do no more than like 2 minutes of rest between, which is pretty quick for me. So I aim for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, something like that, including changing the weights. So yeah, so I was going pretty quick here. I think on the third set, I noticed when I unracked the weight, the area around my left knee got real tight, almost felt like a slight pull or a cramp or something. And I think it's just because the shoes, funny enough, they keep me slightly more upright than I'm used to. So I think that just changes how the weight feels on my knees and stuff. And yeah, so I cramped up a little bit there. So I ended up just going, I think I did 4 sets of 5, just going up, and then I called it. Yeah, so I was pretty happy with that. I did a set of box jumps too, but I did not record it in this situation. So yeah, squats are fine though. I got through it. Everything else has been feeling good. Not in this video, but I just did deadlifts earlier today, and that was feeling nice. So I'm getting the hang of the straps. Um, I'm starting to get better at bracing, not standing upright. It's a little bit harder to get the brace, I find, without being able to stand up, but um, what I do is bend down, get the bar. If I'm doing straps, I'll get the strap set up. And before I push my legs against the bar to deadlift, I'll try to do a pelvic tilt to straighten out my back a little bit, and then take a big breath, and then put my knees forward and straighten out my back. That seems to work okay. I haven't had any issues with that. It's just not quite as comfortable and not quite as easy to get as tight. So, yeah. Anyway, here I am squatting. The shoes are so nice, though. If you don't have weightlifting shoes or some kind of nice shoes to squat in, I highly, highly recommend you get some. If nothing else, just to keep your feet warm. Yeah, it really helped. So, anyway, that's all I got for the video. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.